This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Window daydream numbs my mind. Turn on the lights. I'm still blind. Speed up, slow down. Wheels keep on spinning. I play the game. I'm not winning. I've been east, I've been west, I've been put to the test. I've been high, I've been low, I don't know where to go. I've been lost, I've been found, I've been spinning around. Here's what's left of me now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
And I'm still out of breath from running up the stairs. I'm Alora. Ooh, I need to get into shape.
She's constantly going back and forth right before the stream.
Yes, I am. I'm all over the place. My bad.
Oh, hey, Otzi. You want to say
this is
hi?
Oates.
Say hi. Okay.
He doesn't want to say hi.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here. And let's see, we've got Misbehavin', Hakab, Kathleen, Laura Lynn, Taylor, Jeannie, and Kathleen. Did I say Kathleen? Yes. I might have said that already. And Love One Another.
And
okay.
MBR Talk, which is
which is us.
The same three things. Keep talking. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just messing with my
volume. Welcome, everybody. We're just kind of hanging out today, but we do have a guest. We have a lot of things to go over as far as the FOIAs and stuff. I'm not sure what the direction of the show is going to go because this is an open panel, so anybody can get up here and ask us any questions or anything like that.
Is that the StreamYard link? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. I was thinking about posting it in my own thing.
Yep, that's the StreamYard link.
Okay, yeah.
And so I did want to say that Aubrey Wu has been found.
Yes, she has, which is amazing news.
Yes, it is. And actually, like, I have like a whole bunch of information that I brought up.
Thank you so much, Cherokee Girl, for gifting another one of our memberships.
Oh, thank you, Cherokee Girl. You're so sweet.
We always love seeing you in the chat.
You're so kind, you're constantly sharing things for me and sharing things with me. And so I thank you very much for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
She shares a lot of veterans information. So
That's
I don't
awesome.
even know if Cherokee, are you a veteran? Because I'm not sure about that. But if you are, let me know. Okay, let's see.
But you're looking up Aubrey's stuff. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
The
Let's see.
Aubrey thing is such a weird case. And I'm thinking within the next month or two, we should probably know a lot more.
Yes.
Now, we're very appreciative. This is just my opinion.
Oh,
I'm not going to.
Cherokee was U.S. Marine Corps.
Oh, hell yeah. I love the Marines. All my best friends were Marines.
Yes, thank you for serving.
Well, my very best friend's an Army vet, but other than that, all my other best friends are Marines. But yes, but with the Aubrey thing, this is my personal opinion. I'm not going to speak for my mother. I'm very thankful that John and Jade came on our show.
Yes.
And no matter what, the number one intent from the very beginning was to make sure that Aubrey was safe.
And found.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter whose custody she ends up being in, just the fact that she's found is all that matters. That being said, it seems like they might have signed away their custody towards her. And there's some very odd things that are happening. And a couple nights ago, they did a live stream where they said that it was almost unfortunate that she was found right before they got on the Dr. Phil show or something along that line.
Something to that effect, but I don't think they intentionally meant, that it was unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't want to accuse them of anything because I do think they just wanted to find their daughter.
Yeah.
But it's been a little interesting and I'm very interested to see how the story develops. I don't think they did anything nefarious, but a lot of people on Reddit have a lot of opinions, and I don't really agree with a lot of the opinions.
Okay.
That's a good one to put up.
Actually,
here.
Joel, our president here at NBR, was telling me about this before we went live. Amber Alert, Olivia Hanson, last seen last night is missing. She is 5'3" and about 150 pounds, brown eyes, I think, and brown long hair, light brown, beautiful skin, maybe. I don't know. Let's put this other one.
What is this from? Like, where is this?
This was from TikTok, but I'm not sure.
Because I'm looking up Olivia Hanson missing, and I just want to make sure that we're getting the right area out.
Yeah, it was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Yeah. Actually, Joel sent me something earlier about it.
Yeah, this is from 2022, what I'm finding. So, Joel, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, dear. Did he already send you something?
Well, no, he sent something a little bit ago. I'm not, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but we'll see. I'm supposed to be getting reached out to by the mother, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so with Aubrey, let's see. Upon being found, and she was found April 14th, I believe in the middle of the night, April 14th or something like that. Let's see. Upon being found, Aubrey Wu was placed under the care of Child Protective Services rather than being immediately returned to her family. District Attorney Barada explained that as of April 15th, Aubrey remains under the custody of Georgia Child Protective Services. Pennsylvania and Georgia authorities are coordinating their return under the Interstate Compact for Juveniles, which governs the transfer of custody from minors across state lines. When she is returned to Pennsylvania, custody of Aubrey will be assumed by the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services Office of Children, Youth, and Family, Northampton County Children and Youth Services, pending further review. This means the county's child welfare agency will have legal custody of Aubrey in the short term. While her situation is evaluated, Barada stated that Pennsylvania children and youth officials will have to conduct their own evaluation of Aubrey's well-being and make a determination as to whether Aubrey can be released to her family or if safety concerns require referring the matter to juvenile court. In the meantime, Aubrey remains in protective care to ensure her safety, with only limited case details released publicly due to the active investigation.
Yeah.
Don't show that.
Oh,
I just don't want to show that. I'm gonna talk about it. Hold
It's
on.
blurred out anyway, but
I know, but I just don't feel
there
comfortable.
was somebody arrested, maybe two
people
somebody's
arrested. Let me get to that.
I was gonna say I have everything blurred out and everything on that, but basically there is a picture or a screenshot that I have of one of the people that were arrested. He's only been charged with
Interfering with child protective custody or something like that.
He hasn't been charged with any other crimes, but I would not be surprised if, by the way the TikTok looks, that he ends up getting charged with other things, because I believe he's over the age of 18.
Yeah,
she is very under the age of 18.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, Aubrey was actually on TikTok the whole time she was gone, and
she had about 2,000 followers.
Yeah, she had
at the time.
Yeah. So, yeah. And
actually, I don't think it was the whole time. I think the first one was posted maybe a week or two before she was found. I can go and double check, but I'm pretty sure that it was
I just know
into it.
I just know that one of them on the text of the TikTok, it says something like I finally made it or something like that. So
I'm not quite sure, but regardless, it's just all stuff that we wanted to share.
Yes, and there's a lot more out there. Just go and look.
And again, we're not accusatory towards anybody.
No.
It's just a weird situation, and I'm just interested to see how it develops, and I don't want to form an opinion until more stuff comes out. But,
and I will not be getting any FOIAs or anything like that on that case. I will leave that to the people who need to see that information, and that's it. I mean, I don't think that anything should be put out there about this.
And I
like
just
that.
hope that no Dr. Phil appearances end up happening
Yeah.
after the fact. Despite the fact that I enjoy dressing up like Dr. Phil, I do not condone Dr. Phil. Although he makes entertaining TV, I'll give it to him.
He definitely does.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of we used to both watch a lot of Dr. Phil when I was little.
Yeah, when you were real little. Yeah.
And then we didn't have cable for a while when I was like a teenager, so I'd watch Dr. Phil and TMZ all the time. Anyway, we don't condone TMZ either.
So let's say hello, McCatherine and Risa and Patchouli Julie came in while we were talking, and Mandy, it looks like.
Love Patchouli.
And I think that's all that came in.
A lot of people don't like patchouli.
You know, I don't know if I've ever had it. Have I had it?
It's a Greek smell. Well, I'm sure it's probably from other cultures too, but a lot of Greek people use a lot of patchouli in their soaps, but also in like incense burners and stuff like that. I definitely have some patchouli inspired stuff. Some people think it smells like BO. I think it smells amazing. I don't know why we're talking about that now, but I think it smells awesome. So I'm a little hippie girl,
Stinky Socks and Red Jake Skelton, he's in here, and Lady Lolo. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you for coming in. And so we are actually going to bring in our guest. We have a guest. We have Eva Fulton. And she is another host here at MBR, and she has a show called From Pain to Purpose. And I believe she's an Army veteran, if I remember correctly. Sorry.
You're on top of it today.
I know. I've kind of been slacking today. Let's see. Patchouli was used to cover the smell of decomp back in the day. Yeah, for funerals.
I went to a Greek funeral, and they have the I don't even know the incense, but it's something specific, I thought. And I know it's in the Helena music video from My Chemical Romance. But anyway, I was gonna say they had a bunch of patchouli in there. I love patchouli.
Sorry, guys. I've got allergies. Okay.
Me too. And working with flowers all day. Crazy.
Okay, we're going to bring Eva up.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Welcome, Eva.
Hi.
Hi. How are y'all?
We're well. How are you?
Better today. Thank you. No falling in my forecast today.
Good.
Eva fell yesterday on a hike.
Oh, wow. Oh my
goodness. I fell forward hard, and I had to. I went to the urgent care and worried about whether I had like a cracked rib or something. I'm still moving very, very slow today, but But I'm gonna
totally
add my
agree.
2 cents. I love patchouli.
I love patchouli, right?
So, can you tell me what the smell is? Because I think I remember what it smells like after she started saying it was incense.
It kind of to me has a little slight musky smell.
Musky.
So it's kind of I want to say an more of an ancient smell, right? It is. So you're kind of headed in the right direction where it's not sweet and flowery, but it's not like I mean, some people I use it in my diffuser
Mhm.
sometimes, and you can even use patchouli as a wood. So it's definitely that.
Okay.
Like I said, it's an ancient. It's a woody type smell.
Mhm.
Is a good way to put it. That it's not flowering. I'll put it that way. It's definitely not a flowering.
Okay.
You ever go into metaphysical shops with me? It's
Mhm.
basically the smell in the entire metaphysical shop.
Okay.
So I was gonna say it's like any type of yeah, it's always patchouli. That's the first thing that goes in your face. But anyway.
Okay, Eva. So, can you tell our guests, or not our guests, our
Our audience.
audience, uh,
Yeah.
who you are and what your show's about, so we can kind of get a feel of how you um, can speak a little bit with some kind of knowledge on FOIAs and documents and things like
Sure.
that.
Sure. So I actually have kind of a wide background. I'm kind of a Jane of all trades, but I'm an Army veteran, Desert Storm. I was there in the Gulf War. And so, yes, Army. But I was in the JAG Corps. I was not an officer. I was not an attorney, but I was a paralegal and pretty integral in. I would not only help with the investigation side, but also, sorry, also write up the charges for court martials and, reviewing evidence and handled FOIA requests, reports that would go up to the Hill, to Congress. Like we had, do you remember back in the 90s, there were all of the Gulf War trophies that people had that had been talked about in the news. So I had to do some statistics at Fort Stewart is where I was at. Um, and even now, I work in the federal government, and I'm working on my PhD in public administration. So FOIA still falls along the public administration side,
Okay.
and really, it's a very process oriented. Um, I want to say lane of public administration because the public, have the right to put in FOIAs, but there are going to be limitations of what you're allowed to get. The timeliness, they've tried to improve that because a lot of the documents are all digitized now versus the old, paper file in a file box somewhere. And, how long is it going to take them to find it and send it to you? And not only that, but how much of the information needs to be redacted because
Mhm.
they can't provide some information that is HIPAA related or could be revealing personal identifying, PII, personal identifying information that should not be shared, like somebody's current physical address or social security number or date of birth, something that, is private information that has to be redacted out. So.
Mhm. Okay, so what is a FOIA request? Just so we
So
cover all our
FOIA, yeah,
bases.
we keep saying it as an acronym, but what
Yeah.
is it? It's the Freedom of Information Act,
Mhm.
and so I didn't pull up when that was actually published. I don't know if anybody cares about when they enacted it, but it really gets to not just at the federal level, but a lot of state and local governments will use that as well. And that is the public's access to ask for documents because this is about the checks and balances to ensure that there is transparency, there's accountability. So, even if you think about the effects of what Doge is doing, and, a lot of that is going to stem from asking the right questions to figure
Mhm.
out, where do we need to go to find the right answers and figuring out where budgets are going and, somebody spending something that they shouldn't be spending funds on. But, it could be just as doable in criminal cases and I see the question, can they filter anything or just personal stuff? That may really depend upon an impact. If there's an ongoing investigation, that they would withhold that because they're still using that information to build on a different case.
Okay.
There's going to be some prerogative there that whether it's the DA, let's say if it's in a criminal event or a civil, process, whether they're going to release it because you don't have a need to know.
Understand.
You don't have a need to know because there's an ongoing investigation. So
Yeah. So I looked it up, and to anybody in the audience that cares, it says the Freedom of Information Act was enacted in 1966 and took effect on July 4th, 1967. Also, something I was thinking of. So I mean, it's been established for quite some time, which is a good thing to know. But I was curious. So in our FOIA documents that we got, as far as some of the crime scene photos, the more graphic in nature, all of them were blacked out. Yet, some things that had come to light like a few months prior weren't redacted. And so I just didn't know if you had any sort of insight on why something might have not been redacted at one point and might be redacted now 8 years or 9 years post crime.
Great question.
you're asking me that. Why would they black it out versus maybe it's whoever the reviewer is, right? Somebody oopsed before and then they realize, maybe we should have redacted that. Maybe, they didn't, it's really gonna, and I want to say probably even there could be a political aspect about that where they don't, it's going to be the reviewer. Maybe we shouldn't send that, right? Because when you have stuff like that hits out to the public, well, that's now available for public consumption. And now you are going to be reviewed for putting it out there. And somebody's going to wonder how you obtained those documents. So then you have to think about, well, just because I have it, should I share it?
Yeah.
Right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so somebody may preemptively halt that because they don't want it getting tagged in social media, whether it's on X or whether it's Facebook, that there's this graphic stuff going out there. I mean, I saw a video from the shooting. I guess there was a shooting the other, it was a campus shooting, and somebody videotaped that they had a Starbucks cup in their hand and walking past a body, and I was like, really? Or should we be having that out there? I mean, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I've accidentally seen a lot of stuff that I definitely didn't intend to see. Also, another question that I had, and it might be more specific to state, but it was just something that came across my mind. So not all of this information that we've gotten, but a lot of the general information from the case could have been found on Missouri CaseNet, which is just basically kind of like a hub for all of the crime stuff that happens here, and every legal document and whatnot. Sorry, I didn't explain that very well, but anyway, but at one point in time, all the stuff was available on CaseNet, but maybe I want to say like July or maybe August, everything got taken off.
Not all of the stuff that I have.
Not everything.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like a good portion of the general information was on CaseNet at one point in time. And then you'd say probably summer of last year, everything ended up completely disappearing from that online. And a lot of people thought that it was because there was a federal investigation taking place rather than just a state investigation taking place. But I decided, since I live in Missouri, that I would drive down to the federal courthouse. And I walked in, I just talked to people. They went through their whole entire database and they couldn't find anything on the case within the federal thing. So it turned out that that's not what the reason was. But I was just thinking, even though it might be, a state by state basis, if you had any kind of an idea on why that might have been, that they might have taken it offline when it's been online for the past 8 or 9 years.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't ever dealt really at the state level, but if I had to theorize why they would do that, somebody realized that they didn't have the back doors closed, or they didn't have the right, there's a lot of lot of you've ever heard the term insider threat, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or cybersecurity. Well,
Mhm.
there's also the aspect that states, need to be protecting the information that any of these cases that are, I don't care whether they're federal, state, or whatever. And the federal, I think, government, I think, has done pretty good. When I was in the Army, we did a really good job, but all of our things were not on the cloud then, right? So if the states have not narrowed down their public administration side on what they allow out there publicly versus not, what's
Mhm.
researchable, what's not, then that's going to be the states, they, what is it? Sometimes things are designed to fail. I really have this kind of unofficial academic working theory that some of the things that we endure are actually designed to fail. And it's
Mhm.
not until somebody files a lawsuit that my personal information was out there and da 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 da, they get sued and they get some money for it. Well, they needed somebody to sue them before they would go in and fix the doors that were accessing that, the public was able to access documents that shouldn't have been available in the first place because it was pending a trial. I
Okay.
mean, think about it. The information between, I was watching the documentary thing on OJ Simpson, and
Mhm.
some things were used and some things weren't used, but that information sharing is supposed to between prosecution to go to the defense so they can actually put their proper defense together. Well, at least it sounds like what you're saying is all this information was out there, so the defense could have said, "Well, we didn't get access to it," but if it was out there for public consumption, then the prosecution could then make the argument that, "But you did have access to it. In fact, the whole world had access to it." Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, I'm trying to give you
Yeah.
both sides of the
Yeah. You never know.
argument.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I figured there probably wasn't a black and white answer. I just figured I was just thinking about it. And so I was like, it was kind of odd they pulled everything. But I don't think, now that I'm thinking
Oopsie.
about it, I don't think that the Gypsy Rose case is the only thing that had some things pulled, because there's some friends that I know that I used to be able to find on CaseNet that I can't find on CaseNet anymore in my personal life. So
Maybe they forgot to check a checkbox and say this is not,
Mhm.
it's not public, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been just as something as simple, but if somebody's doing an audit
Mhm.
of, all this information, I mean, that's the whole purpose of having public administration. People don't
Yeah.
realize public administration has, it's not, because this is not just a legal thing. This is
Mhm.
us following the procedures of what's available versus what's not. And if they didn't do what they were supposed to do in the online IT side of things, and that inside threat now became an outsider threat, well, that's how stuff gets leaked to the media, and it's not really leaked. It was just out there for public consumption anyways.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. for
Thank
sharing.
you.
You're welcome.
Those were good questions, Laura.
I was just thinking about it. That's all.
Yeah. So can you just kind of let our viewers know what you know about Gypsy Rose before we even get into this, just so we can kind of get a baseline of where you are so people don't try to say that
I
you're biased
actually
or anything.
I want to say I know very little. I've watched your show a couple of times. I think I saw one couple of episodes on the documentary. So I really have more of a non-bias. I'm rather uninformed.
Mhm.
So when you sent me the documents the other day, I was like, okay, what do you want me to look at here? I mean, because I wasn't,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm not so in tune to it. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure I, knew what the angle was that you're looking at, because I can see lots of things there from my legal perspective.
Mhm.
But if you're looking for a specific angle, I wanted to make sure I knew what angle you were looking at, because there was a lot of information in your folder.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of information.
But I guess it's kind of a good thing not knowing what angle we're looking at, because we're not trying to, have some sort of a bias
Mhm.
and try and, manipulate the story because we have a certain opinion. Because my opinion has changed quite a few times, and my opinion now is maybe even different than it was whenever I first started talking about it on here with you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, So I think having someone that's unbiased will be good because we don't want to paint any sort of a narrative, and we don't want somebody to be we don't want things to be interpreted a certain way just because of a way that we might feel about them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. Allie came in, Fits and Giggles, and Kelly, and Dear What the Heck, and Jose. Good to see
Hey,
all
Jose.
of you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Jose's a friend of mine.
Yeah, and
Sure.
Jose is Friends of MBR. Is he still doing a show? I think I can't remember if he is.
Jose needs to get his show back on.
Yeah, he
All right,
does.
I'm nudging him.
Motivated Mindset, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
We're good, Allie. Thank you for joining us. So let's see. We'll just get into it now. So this is a fair and accurate representation of this whole story.
Yeah, and it seems to be similar to what's going on now too.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I wonder who they had commission this.
It looks
I
like
can't
Edith,
see.
and it looks like it was.
I don't know if that says Edith,
It
but
says something, but it was commissioned, or it was painted in 2005, so that would have let's see.
when I was 5 years old, AO, depending on what part of the year it was.
Yeah, and the year my son was born.
Oh yeah, it was. Okay, it's been a minute. Shit, that was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh.
she was 14. She was 14 when that picture was painted.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then they moved to Springfield, I believe, or no, they moved to Missouri in 2011. So she would have been.
This would have been in Louisiana, not any Springfield artist.
I guess so.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
what I'm assuming. That's what I got from the research I was
I thought
doing.
that a lot of this stuff didn't end up happening until they got to Missouri, or a lot of the. Well, I mean, I guess this is just. I mean, it's just a painting. It's not that deep.
Millennials said
that
it
deep.
wasn't me. Right. I doubt it.
You could do better. No, not to insult the artist. The artist did just a fine job.
No, but yeah, when I was looking at the date on that painting, I was like, well, that had to have happened in Louisiana. And so, Eva, we're told that they lost everything in Hurricane Katrina, and that they had to be airlifted to Missouri from New Orleans. I think they were at the Superdome. And so I'm just wondering where this picture came from. Did a family member have it?
Were they able to go back to the house and recover any of their stuff? I mean, because that could have been possible too.
I don't know. Curse painting for sure. And they got the Habitat house in 2008. So,
unless they recreated it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I thought they got to Missouri in 2011. So I don't know. Somebody please figure that out for me.
I'm also posting the link in chat to the StreamYard if anybody has any interest in joining in and conversing with us. It is an open panel tonight, which it normally isn't. But.
Yes. And hello, Ruth.
Hello,
so
everyone.
that's where we started at. So I was just going to bring up some of the things that I found.
There was one piece of evidence that I thought was interesting, is they kept taking a picture of some blanket that was at the foot of her bed. Did you see that? Did that have something? That one green, I don't remember which folder it was in, but there was a picture of a blanket that took several pictures of.
Also, Angela M in chat, I was looking it up and I thought that sounded a little bit more accurate. They moved to Missouri in October of 2005 because Katrina, remember Katrina?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dad did stuff. I almost said he fought in Katrina. Oh
Why did I?
I don't know what. I thought that sounded wrong too, but I was like, okay, my bad. I didn't do my research, but yes, thank you very much, Angela.
Yes.
But yeah, I Googled it too, and that's
sorry. And Mandy and Millennial.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Guys, I don't know what my brain was thinking today when I was looking at that. I was like,
wondering. So I wonder if that happened right as they were moving to Missouri then, because it was 05. So it was either right as they were leaving or right as they were arriving.
so if they were living in
Bridge from
Slidell, they
Slidell.
wouldn't have gone to the Dome Bridge from Slidell out.
I don't know what Slidell is. It just makes me think of
Louisiana.
I was like, I don't know if anyone knows anything about Tofiachu, but that's her last name, Slidell.
So probably as
Yeah.
soon as they got to Missouri. Okay, thank you guys. For some reason, I had
Yeah.
2011 stuck in my mind. For some reason, is like when they got to
That would have
Missouri.
meant they were only in Missouri for a couple of years. Then,
Yeah, I
and They
know.
were from what I understand, she wasn't going to the doctors for a few years before Dee Dee passed away.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, 2011 is when she shot her mom with the BB gun. That's yeah. Okay.
There you go.
You-
No,
Okay.
y'all are just spitting out all these, dates and stuff that you remembered. I'm just impressed that you can remember all of this stuff.
Is this what you were
I didn't
talking about?
remember
The
it.
blanket?
No, I look back over in the link you sent me. It's in the Gypsy's room folder.
Okay.
So that was Gypsy's room. Is that a blanket right there? At the
Oh,
end
I
of the bed
showed
right
it
there?
to her. It's the same
It's
one.
the same one that's right there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
Um,
there was the one. It's with evidence number 145,
Hmm.
and I didn't know what. I just thought that was pretty interesting that they kept taking a picture of this green blanket. So I didn't know.
Something that I find interesting about the bed is they said that they were doing, more adult activities on this bed while you see all the stuff that's on that bed. I mean,
well,
Yeah.
there was even more on it when they first
because that either means that they
took it off.
took it off, put a bunch of stuff back on, or, I mean,
So she was
Uh-huh.
talking about how Nick had to like throw all her stuff off.
I'm not trying to laugh because this is an unfortunate situation, but the I'm special license plate. I'm sorry.
So is this what you're talking about, Eva, right here?
I'm not
keep
seeing
keep
anything.
going. It was I think after they got it all off, there was this green blanket that was marked with evidence number 145.
I'm seeing a bunch of dresses and
Look
stuff.
at picture number 1999.
1999. Are they all? 1999.
There it is. There you go. Those ones down there.
Green blanket.
The next one over.
There we go.
Oh, the
Gotcha.
sheet.
Like
Yeah.
underneath the bed.
Yeah, but
that
if you
Twilight
keep
or-
moving it,
Yeah, it's
move to
Twilight.
the next one and it's stuck in there. And I just the way they kept, there you go.
Okay.
So it was, I didn't know if they had like tested it for body fluids or something. I mean, I've been listening to this other podcast when I was hiking yesterday. I guess this lady, she was a juror, and so she's talking about this particular story that she's been following, or since she was a juror. And she pointed out that because of the limitation, I thought it was pretty helpful even for coming on your show, was that the state has a limited budget on how many things they can send in for testing. And they were told, this was in Tennessee, that that they could only send 10 items in at a time to get tested for, whether it's blood or chemical or, fingerprints or whatever. So if you've got all of these different, pieces of evidence, how do you prioritize what's the most important to send in if you're trying to make some connections, let's say for body fluids, for a murder or, sex or whatever. So
that's
what I thought,
the bed.
right. And they would have sprayed that blue dye stuff on there to get it to light up, and that's what they would have shown. Yeah.
But even when you were showing, I had you zoom into that one thing whenever I pointed at it, but there was like a hair and there was like some other sort of stain on the bed, which I'm not trying
yeah,
to
it was
act as
definitely a
like,
stain.
I'm not trying to act like it's automatically suspicious. I mean, I'm sure if you looked on my bed, there's probably some period blood stains, but oopsie, my bad, TMI. Anyway, right there though.
But see that,
something.
but seeing something like that would be important if you're trying to identify whether somebody had been there. If somebody's got, if she's got blonde hair, for instance, and he's got brown hair, well, you know, how do you make the connection that something had happened? You're going to use DNA evidence to do that. And you're going to be very discriminant on what you could send off for testing, because there's not this endless budget to send everything off for testing. And is it going to actually, you know, get a conviction? Because that's the, even that's what they said on the OJ Simpson case, was there was a lot of evidence that they didn't even put in trial, but they could make a stronger argument with something else, and it lost its relevance. Not that it wasn't important, but it lost its relevance on trying to get the conviction.
If you can find it, do you remember how there's a picture or a collage next to Dee Dee's bed, and it's got a bunch of pictures? It has a picture of her and Rod's wedding, along with a bunch of pictures of her and Gypsy put together. And it was just a thought of mine because they say, or Gypsy said, I think, that she removed all the evidence that she had lived in the house.
She did in one documentary. I'm not even sure.
Directly across from, and we're going through where all the redacted images are, which is honestly a good thing for YouTube that it's not on there, so you can just scroll through here freely. But as I'm looking through Skype, I think they said that Skype didn't have anything suspicious. I would say probably around here is probably, there we go. There it is.
She definitely was a hoarder, though.
Yes.
I have this saying that I use: the state of your bed is the state of your head. She had a messed up head.
Hey, it happens. But so there, I mean, I'm not saying that means one thing or another. I'm not going to say that she didn't remove any other pictures, but directly across from the body, exactly where the people who are inevitably going to walk in are going to see plenty of pictures of Gypsy, plenty of pictures of Dee Dee. You can even see little collages from her and Rod's wedding. There might be actually a couple pictures of her and Rod in there, more than just one, which
I wonder, did she think that making collages, was that a time occupier? Did she find therapy in making collages? Or
I know they had a lot of pictures. I think she probably made some scrapbooks, from what I understand. If you go through some of the evidence, you'll see that there was some scrapbooks or picture photo albums or whatever. Miss Behaven, if you're talking about these pictures here, all you have to do is go to my community post, and it's in there, and you can just
go through all of our documents.
All of the documents and the pictures.
Also, Toddy said, no way the wheelchair can get around that house. No way that wheelchair or any other one got around this house. There was no room. So as you're going through and we're scrolling through the pictures, if you can kind of just look, it doesn't look like it's possible. And also maybe we can look through a couple different pictures where it shows the floor a little better. But especially with the type of flooring that they had, I feel like you would see wheelchair marks on the floor.
Oh, for sure. Wrong. And you would see the wheelchair marks on the door facings too, right? Because it would be bumped into and the paint would be nicked and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the Barney. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, but I'm listening.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I first saw these pictures, I was like, okay, I see a lot of 5 and dime stores. I spent a lot of time at the dollar store.
Yeah,
not that that's a bad thing, but it's just saying.
Well, and knowing the fact that she was almost 24 years old at the time that this happened, and this house is completely full of children's toys,
very juvenile stuff. Yeah,
very juvenile.
Yeah,
and I just
she had not emotionally matured at all. And it sounds like she was not allowed to emotionally mature, because that goes back to the Munchausen, right?
Well, and we're not even sure that is true anymore, because everything that's coming out, it looks like, I mean, even these documents, somewhere in these documents, and you'll have to look through them, but it talks about how at like 6 years old, Gypsy had surgery or something.
Okay.
And she was temporarily paralyzed or something to that effect. And then when she started getting the feeling and stuff back in her legs, she didn't tell her mom.
Oh,
So
she
she
didn't
actually,
communicate. So maybe it wasn't the Munchausen, it was her taking advantage of her mother so that she could get the sympathy to manipulate her.
correct. That's what it's looking like. I mean, if you just go by these documents alone, that's what it sounds like.
Well,
So
I was wondering because I saw all of the I saw all the medication stuff, all the prescriptions or whatever, but to have that kind of a stockpile, how do you not? How do you have that kind of? She this person says she likes to
Medication
infantile
or
herself. How does she have all of those medications and not have used them?
yeah,
Right.
so most of those medications are like allergy medications and things like that. If you
over the
look,
counter stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
or can be prescribed. But so this picture right here. So
Mhm.
this it seems like her
Jip
mom.
ouch. Is that what it
Yes,
says?
Jip ouch
I've
is
never seen that before.
yeah. So I caught on to
Okay.
this when I was looking through these the other day. It says Jip ouch. This is codeine. Now,
Oh,
this was prescribed.
good time over
Liq
there.
liquid codeine. Mm.
I could not figure out when this was prescribed. I don't think, unless
Yeah,
this
I
is the
tried
one that
zooming
I
in
get.
on pictures and I
Oops.
couldn't,
Sorry, that's a little
make
graphic,
them.
everyone. Oops. It's graphic, but that's also not as much BLOOD as you would expect to be.
Yeah, so I can't
Okay.
find the date on that one. But then we come over here to this one. And this is called Shaky Baby. Now, I had always
That's so weird. What?
you hadn't heard about this? Well, I've
No.
always heard about Shaky Baby, but I did not realize that Shaky Baby was not for her nerves, but this was Keppra,
I don't know.
seizure medicine.
Oh,
The stuff
That's
Franklin was
So
on.
that
they
would be
say,
shaky.
but
I could
she
understand the shaky side, but did she have some kind of, seizure issue?
that could feed into the Munchausen by proxy thing that they talk about. They could just be saying, for argument's sake, that
So,
you know what I mean.
well, okay. So
But
actually,
did
what?
her mother have a medical power of attorney over her all this time, though? I mean, if she was over 18, then that would have meant that she was going to these appointments on her own. But if her mother was still doing it, then that would lead more towards the moon.
No, they had like this whole racket going where they were. Gypsy was pretending to be mentally delayed or disabled, and
Right.
also physically disabled in a wheelchair, and like a 6 or 7 year old. And
But I'm also wondering why she has the codeine right next to her bed. You know what I'm
yeah, there's a
saying?
bottle of codeine, and then there's a bottle of Shaky Baby, which leads me to believe that she was taking Keppra, she was taking medicine for seizures.
Which can feed into the Munchausen by
It
proxy thing.
it
Right.
can.
That's what I'm
So it doesn't really prove
No,
anything.
I'm just
doesn't prove
talking.
anything, but
Sure.
what if one's feeding like an upper and one's a downer? What if that's, you know,
Mhm.
What is
part
that?
of her
Is that
micro
rain?
deletion?
Yeah, it is. It's the show Rain.
Sorry, I'm just being
Yeah,
nosy.
so
But it's like, I don't know. Also, I was just thinking the codeine by her bed. I was like, of course, that's the one freaking medication you're going to want to have by your bed. What are you trying to get underneath? I don't have it.
Gypsy says Dee Dee gave this to her to cause symptoms. I don't believe that that's just what she's. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you know, that's why there's still a potential of the Munchausen if one, because all of these types of medications are going to have side effects. So you have to go
Mhm.
and look and see, well, what's the counteraction? Because if, let's say she's on one medication and it causes seizures, then you got to take a seizure medicine, and that could, whether it's a prescription or whatever. And there's different types of meds out there that are meant to reduce the seizures, but they're going to have a whole different set of side effects too. Could cause bowel problems and incontinence or whatever. So
Mm-hmm. So actually, I found in the medical cabinet there was shaky baby in there, labeled as shaky baby, and it was Keppra for, and it was filled 6/03/15. So the murder happened on the 9th. And it was filled on the 3rd. And people have been saying that they didn't see doctor, or she didn't see
Does
a
Keppra
doctor.
get you high? Does anyone in the chat know if Keppra does anything to you? We had a dog that, had to be on it, but we don't know what he was feeling, obviously.
Yeah,
angry,
our
full of rage,
dog.
it made me, ooh, I
Our
wonder
dog
if-
was super aggressive.
Yes, he was. And oh God, I miss that boy.
I
Miss my
know.
baby. Yeah, but he got super aggressive whenever he was on it, so we had to take him off it for a little bit. Or not for a little bit, indefinitely. We did.
but
That's
if it
what
had
they
those
say. But I don't know. We've even heard some things inside.
Cobb's gonna
that we've
Google
never spoken on.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hakal. We appreciate it. Also, I think I sent it back. Oh no, I didn't. I intended to send it back in the chat. I'll try and do it. But if anybody wants to join in, we are technically accepting an open panel right now.
Yep.
Let's see.
So that
she
was
had
just
none in her
some of the-
system the night she was arrested. So I wonder what the lifespan of it. How fast does it metabolize out of your body?
The Keppra or the what was it?
the Keppra, yeah.
Yeah.
But the codeine's also got her name on it. So
Well, just because you have it doesn't necessarily mean you're taking it.
yeah, but if it's right next to the bed,
It's right next to Dee Dee's bed, which I'm not trying to
one's
make
on-
Okay.
one's
But
on
apparently
each
she's pretty
side.
lazy and doesn't put things back where they belong either. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm just thinking-
I don't know that I necessarily get wrapped up that, well, it was on the nightstand. She didn't put it back. Doesn't mean that it was, maybe she used it 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm not trying to accuse Dee Dee of anything, but
Mm-hmm.
if I saw codeine on anybody else's nightstand, I would assume it's something that they were using. Something that you know what I mean? Like codeine dreaming.
So Hakab says makes mental illness worse. Okay, well.
Yeah. But hey, who knows what was going on? I don't want to, because there's this case. So many people speak definitively on it, like, oh, this is exactly how this happened, and this is exactly how that happened, and she couldn't have been on this, and she could have been on that. And there could be like little bits of truth. Any type of lie
Mm-hmm.
has little bits of truth in it. So it could be possible that she was on a lot of this medication. What did it say that was in her system? Just the Kipro and the.
Well, I don't. Nobody
yeah, 'cause
knows
the
what was in the
Yeah,
system.
Did they
obviously,
did they do a
HIPAA
they didn't do a
required.
blood analysis, did they? Because I
They
didn't
did.
see any.
HIPAA.
Okay, but I didn't see it in
Love
your
that.
documents unless I
No,
just,
because of HIPAA.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't
Yeah.
think about it. But then, not to invoke the, not to invoke her, but Fancy did have some of the medical records. But I'm sure she doesn't have all of the medical records.
Yeah, she only has what they could get here in Missouri,
which
I
I
believe.
find not great that she is releasing people's medical
Yeah.
records. But hey,
but wouldn't it also matter if I read this right? Read the one document, she had multiple personalities. So what if one personality took the meds but not the other personality?
oh, you're talking about how
the role playing.
the role playing.
Yeah,
It was
right.
BDSM.
It wasn't
adjacent.
multiple personalities on
Well,
either one of.
That's what they accuse Nick of.
Yes.
Whether
Okay.
whether people believe it or
But
not.
but what if that was part of something that they did? So she might have they diagnosed her with microdeletion, explains all the medical conditions, never was any Munchausen by proxy.
Mhm.
But what if it was she did it to get in a certain mindset to be able to do those things with him?
I
You
don't
see
know.
what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Hey,
Hi,
Millennial.
Millennial.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
Going
Good.
pretty good. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
Thanks. I've been wanting to join in for a bit, but I was trying to finish supper first.
Totally understand. What'd you have
What's
for
that? I
supper?
haven't had it yet.
I made tuna mac casserole and tomato spinach quiche with microgreens.
Okay,
Oh,
you know,
sounds
guys,
yummy.
I just have to say off topic real quick. Sometimes Millennial will send like different like foods that she's made, especially like from her garden or from like different things that she's found or whatever. And I love it. Like it's great. It all looks absolutely delicious.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you for
I've been
sharing.
growing microgreens on my windowsill, so I'm kind of doing a Meghan Markle and put them on everything at the moment.
Yesterday I had a potluck at work and I stole some of the basil from the front since I work at a nursery. I stole some of the basil and I put it in. It was like a
Nice.
lasagna thing.
Let's see.
Stole with permission in case anybody tries to call my job and be like, she did this.
It grows back.
Yeah, it does grow back. I was yeah, the guy who takes care of all of
Sometimes
our-
no, here you go. You just say you helped prune it.
Yes, I helped prune it. There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Ooh, look at the little Ronald
Sippy
McDonald
cups.
cup. And then there was a sippy cup. Everyone says there were no sippy cups in the house.
But look at how
But how
covered
much
in dust.
How much dust.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that there were some in the house, it seems.
Mhm.
So what are
I
you
bet
think
you those are
Millennial?
collectibles.
A
But-
They're
collectible.
collectibles.
Yeah, they are more collectibles up there. But Millennial, you've been watching a little bit. What kind of things have you been thinking as you've been watching on?
I got distracted with my food.
Sorry.
Sorry. So early on, I was crap. I'd have to scroll back to my comments. It's all left my head. Sorry, y'all.
Oh no, you're totally fine.
Hold on.
We're just looking at some of the collectible stuff they have. They have a lot of cool like Disney mugs and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I remembered something.
Ooh,
Whenever
Lord
you were talking
Rainy.
about the scrapbooks and
Mhm.
the collages and stuff, I do remember hearing that Dee Dee liked to scrapbook back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good,
Awesome.
good. Scrapbooking can be fun. Oh, Grandma and Grandpa had, Nana and Papa had that right there in the middle.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Well, they were Disney freak. Well, Nana was a Disney
My
freak.
great grandmother was such a Disney freak that she literally changed her name to Mickey.
Oh,
Yeah. So I don't know if she did it legally or not, but everyone called her Mickey. So
Kepra scared me so bad. I was yelling angrily at my love uncontrollably. I had never done that before and not since they discontinued the Kepra. It was all, I believe it.
yeah,
Wow.
I've heard a lot of bad things about Kepra. So
One to two
Oh
baby
my God.
bottles in a picture.
The cases of the Pediasure.
Pediasure.
Uh,
Oh, but do you even see on that one? Like there's the layer of dust even on that level.
Yeah.
What level were we on? Oh.
there's a person in the comments, fits and giggles and scribbles. Dee Dee only game charities and foundations to get Gypsy free trips gifts. She was doing it for Gypsy for sure. I just want to say real quick that she gamed real life people too, her neighbors and friends.
Yeah. I
For
could
money.
see that where she's basically using it as a grooming opportunity, right? To
She
take
just
advantage of those organizations.
Well, she directly took advantage of her neighbors and friends the same way. It wasn't just
Yeah.
organizations, is my
Right.
my point. I want to throw in there. Sorry, y'all, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're
that makes
good.
sense.
Yeah, say whatever you got.
I actually have to go to the bathroom. Try to figure out what she's talking about there.
She had a specific type of leukemia, like a blood leukemia or something.
Oh, wasn't
Which
that in one
image?
of the records? Something that was one of the medical things that was FOIA'd. Alora, or am I forgetting something?
I don't think medical stuff can be FOIA'd.
Oh, gotcha. I must be
That
that
would be
What-
HIPAA.
or what Fancy has.
might be.
Yeah,
No,
'cause-
I didn't think it was from Fancy. I thought it was something newer than that, but I could be wrong.
There's a catch in one of the images. Dee Dee says Gypsy had a specific type of bikini.
Can you share more, Mandy, in the comments?
Yeah. What do you mean by a catch?
I see a bunch of these Twilight cups, which are honestly kind of iconic. Let's see. What else do they have in here? I'm just kind of nosy. Let's just look through somebody's house, while we have the opportunity, right? No.
What are they hoarding? Easter basket.
So
is that formula? Is that all formula in that one?
I'm trying to click on it. Here we go.
Side?
Okay. So I don't know if this is what this is, but completely unrelated. The Shrek thing. Hold up. There are certain Shrek cups that got recalled from McDonald's, and they looked really similar to this. And it was because they had like lead or something in them. And I don't remember if it was lead or if it was something else, but regardless, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if it was one of the recalled cups. That's completely unrelated. I don't think it has anything to do with the schmurder, as Fancy likes to put it, but I'm just looking. What are these? Look at that. Look at those drawer pulls.
Those
They
knobs.
love color.
Yeah. I'm just being judgy over here looking through someone's house. Look at this. They got Disney on the freaking oven.
Yeah.
Are these stains of like regular kitchen stains, or are those some of the blood stains?
I think that's just
No,
regular.
that's just cooking
Might be
stains.
bacon grease. Who knows?
Well, because I remember
Yeah.
there were actually blood stains on the sugar that was
Yeah.
in the kitchen somewhere.
Oh.
I love how they literally took pictures. They're like, you know what? You have some moldy cereal in there. We got that. We're gonna take a picture of it.
Nasty.
Exposed. I mean, we've all had days when we've been, less productive than others, but
Yeah, if I gotta be murdered, I hope it's not on a
Here
bad
we
house
go.
day.
see,
Hold on. What'd you say, Millennial?
A
I said
blood
if I
stain.
have- If I end up getting murdered, I just hope it's not on a bad housekeeping day.
I know, right?
we think about that all the time. We're like, what if something bad happens? Like, knock on wood, and it's like,
But this could
knock
have
on
been
wood.
from cutting themselves, doing something else, right? She could have cut herself some other time, and
This?
because of poor housekeeping, she cut
No,
her
this
finger.
This was related.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Okay.
of blood. That's not like a drip drop. That's a lot of blood.
Didn't we hear that was from Nick cutting his finger or something like
Yeah.
that? Okay, that's
He
what I
he
thought.
cut his finger pretty bad, actually.
Oh, I
Then
saw
you
that.
went to the
I saw the
flour?
picture for that.
Well, they made they had brownies. Where did the brownies come from? Domino's or from
the brownies.
Papa John's.
gonna eat me.
Papa John's?
They actually did have it delivered. Nick said that.
They had it delivered.
The
Okay,
hotel,
gotcha.
the brownies. Mhm.
But yeah, looking at that, it's like, damn. Okay, I mean,
Nick went in the kitchen looking for a Band-Aid. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, that it wouldn't have been
Okay.
from the murder. It would have
yeah.
that kind of accident looks like it was just something's in the wrong place because it didn't get put up, and
Yeah.
looking for the first aid kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, totally. No, I'm not saying that's necessarily they did anything in the kitchen or anything. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, that's a really weird thing to have blood all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's not put up where it belongs.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough.
There was another sippy cup. There it is.
But all of those little spots right there, the point, those would have been other blood spots that got soaked
Yeah.
into the counter.
So that sippy cup isn't even opened.
Neither were the other ones.
It's a car's. The other one wasn't open. The other one was open.
Oh, well, there was a packet of them too.
Oh, well, I'm talking about that one specifically is not
Mhm.
open, but it looks like you were saying, Eva, it's like a collector's item kind
Mhm.
of thing.
Yeah, a lot of
I
those things
love-
look like they're collectors,
Mhm.
So maybe people collect thimbles. Well, maybe I guess she was into
Mhm.
sippy cups or something.
Yeah,
Lunch
I mean,
boxes.
definitely if you go to Disney and Universal and stuff, they're always going to have sippy cups because there's so many children that go to things like that. So that makes
Right.
sense here. I mean, I don't love J.K. Rowling, but I do love I do love Harry Potter, and Twilight sucks, but it's great. So I'm kind of laughing at and appreciating all of the Twilight and Harry Potter love in this house.
I ended up liking Twilight because I'd never read the books, but I watched the movies when I had just broke my arm really bad. I had a horrible surgery, and they had me all hopped up on Vicodin, and my cousin brought me over Twilight while I'm laying in bed with my, the screws and everything in my arm and all jacked up. And I watched it all high on Vicodin. I've refused to ever watch it again because I enjoyed it like that. I'm never going to get that experience again without breaking my arm. So I just don't ever watch it again.
No, you won't. Twilight is something that I appreciate, but I know that on a technical level, it doesn't hold up. But also, screw that imprinting on Renesmee thing. That's all I have to say.
That was so weird. The books were better, in my opinion.
The books kind of suck too, but Stephanie Meyer. What am I going to say about the Mormon religion? I'm not going to say anything about the Mormon religion. I'm not going to ostracize any people out here, but I am ostracizing you if you're Mormon.
That's a lot of EpiPens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they come in a pack of 2, and they usually send you 2 packs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I made them
2015. Okay, so
Yeah,
just
but no, that's
says
when it
no refills, too.
expired. That's
Oh,
when it
expired.
expired.
Oh,
It came
expired.
in 2014.
Oh, okay, and this is no refills, so I wonder
Yeah.
how many they were getting. Probably not very many. No refills.
Yeah,
And they're expensive.
they are.
Yeah. Someone was just
And
asking
for a
me
while,
about
they
that.
didn't even make them very much because they didn't have, I think, all of the ingredients to make them. So they
Really?
went up more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what the bed looked like when they got there, but I don't know.
I wonder what she says about the bed. I wonder if she says
said that Nick threw all the toys off the bed.
But what I'm saying is, do they say that they ever put anything back on the bed?
I don't think so.
Not that I remember.
Well, you would think, though, that the investigators, when they came in, they would take everything off to make sure that they could look and see if anything was on the bed that shouldn't be on the bed, like blood stain,
Yeah.
Because
totally.
people put stuff up there to hide things
Yeah.
and make it act like there's nothing there. Nothing to see
Yeah.
here. Nothing
Yeah.
to see.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? Gypsy, Christy, no disrespect, but I know you guys kind of watch like everything that has to do with y'all. If you happen to see this and some info ends up coming out somewhat recently about, this is what happened with the bed, just let us know. Let us know what at least the narrative is going to be.
Yeah,
Did you throw
right?
stuff back on the bed? Did you take it all off? Did you pack stuff? I don't know. I'm looking at this and I'm wondering. And also, like, why is all your shit in a trash bag? Is that because you're going to bring it, or is that just how you live?
So I see this comment on the screen about one personality being addicted. I didn't mean it as that only one personality would be addicted. I meant it that one personality would use it to be able to accommodate whatever commands that guy was giving her, because she had that mental, she needed that mental assistance to get through and actually perform whatever submissive act. You see what I'm saying?
Give them commands.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that Gypsy even now would probably admit that like there wasn't any multiple personality thing going on. It was just a role play thing.
Role
Even if
playing.
she blame him or whatever. I don't think that, especially with her specifically, I don't think that she would even say that there was a multiple personality thing going on. I don't think that's what it was. I just think it was a.
But even in the role playing side, if she knew that she had to do something that still didn't quite set, straight with her, but she was trying to perform, that still could have been something.
I don't want to discount any theories for sure.
Yeah.
Who knows what really happened? Nobody does.
It does
Except
have a
for-
protein. Sugar has no protein. That's interesting.
That
I
is
always
true.
wonder, the
Yeah.
stuff in trash bags, that's in a lot of rooms in the house. And I always wonder if Dee Dee didn't perhaps have a plan to leave because the con was getting stale and it was, Gypsy was getting older. She wasn't one to do it. And if Gypsy blew the con, then Dee Dee was pretty well screwed. And I always wonder if Dee Dee wasn't about to leave with all the cash and Gypsy didn't want to leave because we know she was obsessed with Dan. And if
that makes
it
sense.
might explain the trash bags and the sudden need for the murder to happen right now after she'd been casually talking about it with Nick for 2 years.
Yeah. Also, something else that I was thinking of, You got this is something, since there's people in here. You got the receipt that said that you had tried to submit a FOIA regarding what was it?
Dee Dee's fraud.
Yes, regarding Dee Dee's fraud. And how about you explain what that means to you and how it could be misinterpreted?
Hold on, let's just bring it up real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So as she's pulling it up, my mom sent in a FOIA request for looking into any of the fraud investigations that they might have been doing into the Gypsy Dee Dee situation. Is this the one?
Yep.
Okay. So it says, Dear Amber, we have researched your request emailed on 4/6/25 for quote unquote any records related to investigations, charges, or cases involving Claudine Blanchard and Gypsy Rose Blanchard concerning fraud, specifically police reports, investigation files, court records, and any related documents form any investigations to the fraud perpetrated during the time of 2011 to 2015 after the murder of Claudine Blanchard. It is our position that such fraud case does not exist. Therefore, we have nothing to provide. We believe this completes your request. If you feel we have misinterpreted, please advise. Now, this has been something that has been kind of a point of contention amongst some people, whether they verbally vocalize it or not. A couple people have said it to you privately that they just think that this might not be the case. That being said, anybody can fill out a FOIA request. We are not special. We are just showing you what we're just showing you basically what it says online and what the Kendra, the record supervisor, what the record supervisor says. Okay. So if anybody else would like to try to submit a request that says something a little different, maybe it's worded a little bit different, maybe you'll get something else out of it. But we have nothing to prove. We have no thing that we're trying to, perpetrate or whatever.
Perpetuate.
Or that's what I meant to say. Sorry. Perpetuate. Anyway. So this is just the information they've given us back. I'm not really sure what the legitimate thing is. You know what I'm saying?
But this is the state, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is what the state said. So
So you know though that if you're only submitting to the state, that they're only going to provide the state's response. So it doesn't mean that something's happening at the county level or didn't ever happen at the county level. Doesn't mean something didn't happen at the federal level either, because depending upon what potential violations there could be, it could originate in one of those other forms, the county or the federal level. So you really have to think of this was county.
Yes.
So you've got county, you've got state, and you've got federal jurisdictions. That something can happen. So you have to look at that side of things, and you also have to look how they carefully worded it. So just because it's our position that such break case does not exist and we have nothing to provide, doesn't mean that it's not happening in a different jurisdiction. So I'm just saying they gave you a response without really giving you a response, because they can only talk about what's in their lane of control.
Yeah. Okay. Good thing to note. But yeah, the whole point of showing this, though, just to make sure that everyone knows that we just ask the questions that we thought to ask to the people that we thought to ask them. And if anybody would like to rephrase it or submit it to somebody else, then you are totally more than welcome to. We're just sharing with you what we found. So it's not any definitive proof that, we're not saying that they didn't notice certain things or they didn't look into things, privately, but just as of what they're saying.
So I think 2011 is when they moved to Springfield.
Maybe
I think that's what it was.
Maybe.
But then think about it. How old would she have been in 2011, though?
Did you say 2008 millennial?
2008, yeah, because they said that she got the house in 2008.
Millennial. How far is Aurora from Springfield?
About 40 minutes.
About 40 minutes. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. So, and it's a different county, correct?
Yeah. Aurora is I'm Berry County, I think. I'm zoning out. And Springfield is Greene County.
Okay.
Gotcha. I remember last time I was in Springfield, I sent you some bumper stickers up from someone from Aurora.
Yeah, I remember.
It was like one of those people that was like,
Maze or Nor.
it was like one of those people that like talk shit on pedos, which like totally, but it's like normally if you have to put something on your bumper,
to
like on a
go.
bumper sticker, maybe we should look into your drives.
Okay, let's see what's in this group. Oh, this is Nick's house. Do you guys want to see Nick's house?
I don't think anyone's really, or not.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, I guess anybody who's looked at the FOIAs, but it's not something that's really put out that much. I mean, maybe somebody else put this out that we weren't paying attention, but I haven't seen a lot of Nick's house. Wow. And this is in Wisconsin.
mm-hmm.
Look at that license plate. It was bent. I'm not saying that's anything sus. I'm just look at that.
Wow.
Interesting. They even got the VIN numbers and stuff. Ugh. Rusted out. A Jeep Grand Cherokee. I had my first kiss in a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Okay,
let's see.
so
That's not Nick, is that? Did he have any brothers?
he had a little brother.
He had a little
brother, I think.
Okay.
What was his
Gotcha.
name?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Did he have a sister or just a little brother?
No, just a little
Just a
brother.
little brother. Kitchen A.
You know, there was something else I was thinking about on the fraud side of things was at this point, if the fraud had been perpetuated by Dee Dee the mother and she's gone, why have a case on somebody who's not around to be
Yeah.
able to prosecute, right? So, I
When?
mean, unless they had something that was pinpointing Gypsy as having perpetuated fraud and could go after her with, for it, then
That's
it's,
years before the murder, though.
say that again.
She requested in the years before the murder, though.
From
You mean
2011 to 20.
that Gypsy was doing it?
Yeah, I think
Or
she
that-
asked for both, right?
I asked for both of them.
Both of them before the
2011
or before the murder.
from
Right.
2011 to 2015 and after.
Gotcha.
But if they would have thought that the mother was the one that was doing it and the mother's not around anymore, then the only other party that would be potential in a fraud case would be doctors who did the prescribing.
But they were also looking into more than just medical fraud. They also like defrauded
All the organizations
Habitat
and
for
people and stuff.
Humanity. Yeah, and a lot of other things.
Well, wasn't Gypsy getting a disability check?
I don't know actually,
That's something I don't know about.
but Nick was right.
Nick was.
Nick
So
was.
maybe that's a different FOIA. I don't know if they will provide that to you because it might potentially be HIPAA. But that could be a Social Security FOIA.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I guess
Because you're
we'll
not
find out. There
asking what she was getting it for, but whether she was getting it and is she still getting it? If she's
are
not,
still now, no.
it depends.
Social Sec or
SSDI.
I don't think she's.
I doubt it.
I doubt she's getting. I mean, I
But
don't
I'm just
know.
asking if you phrase the FOIA in the right way,
Mhm.
you would want to know whether she did get it and for how long, and is she
Mhm.
still getting it?
Yeah. Also, that reminds me that anybody who's in the chat or watching post or after we posted it, if you want to submit a FOIA for this case or anything else, it really is all in the way that you word things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you have to be very specific. Look at that toilet. Zoom
Yeah,
into that
it's-
toilet.
I think it's rust.
It's rust. Now, I want to make it very clear. I had somebody that I knew very well that had really bad rust problems, and it looks similar to that. So I'm not trying to say it's anything bad, but that looks a little fishy. I'm going to go make sure it's all right.
Okay.
It could be the stain, the toilet's just stained from the water. You
Yeah.
can see it stained in there too. I looked
Mhm.
at those before too.
Hey, Angela M has a good point in the comments. Didn't Sheriff Arnott mention in the press conference that they were going to investigate the appearance of longstanding fraud? That sounds familiar, but I can't remember.
Yeah, he basically said this case is not all that it seems, and
that, yeah.
don't give any money.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
he did.
but that dependent upon the dollar value, then that would make it higher up on the food chain of who would be doing the investigating. It would not probably be the county district attorney. It would be probably a state or a federal level, depending upon the dollar value.
Yeah.
And that actually, even saying all that, ends up sometimes being political on who needs a win, how much. They're not going to go to case if they don't have, they're not going to take it to trial unless they know they can win it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like losing records.
No.
You don't make a name for yourself as a prosecutor or a defender if you don't think you're going to win the case.
Yeah, no, that's true. So I noticed there's Pepsi here too. And I remember in one of the FOIAs that I got where it talks about Nick was experimenting with Pepsi on trying to figure out if it would help him. Anybody
help
remember
him?
that?
Yeah, I do. Lord.
So it was with Eva, basically, or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Something like that.
Don't they have those pills that they advertise on TV all the time?
Yeah, well, this was
Wouldn't
an
that just be
autistic.
easier?
This was an autistic 26-year-old who didn't know what the heck was going on.
Bless his heart.
Okay.
It's really interesting to see how people live, though, huh?
It is. And it makes you very paranoid. At least it does me about my house.
Somebody said, okay, off the Pepsi. I'm personally a Diet Pepsi addict. Oh, that's Patchouli Julie. Well, I'm glad we moved off of it. Sorry. Gypsy said her favorite color is purple.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said for a growth spurt. The Pepsi was for a growth spurt. Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. I feel like I'm educated tonight now. I'll have to use that in a joke with my kids sometime. It's all right. Let's put some Pepsi on it.
Are we
Okay.
in Nick's bedroom now
I believe so.
with the purple walls? Okay.
Yeah.
Was he into Barney too?
I don't know, but one was left next to Dee Dee's head. Okay.
Nothing interesting on his nightstand.
Hey,
No,
can you
there's
go back to his sheets real quick? Didn't Gypsy say he had?
wrestling sheets.
Yeah.
Wrestling sheets?
Okay, I think that did say WF on his sheets when you zoomed in.
Oh.
Yep. WW.
Or WCW or WF.
WW. All I see is WW.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is it MM?
MMA. Wait.
So he's got the games. That's a lot of games.
Mm-hmm. Here's this collection of bottles. They all look like.
They're all full?
Oh, that's Frost.
Or are they
yeah.
empty?
Empty.
Are they full or empty? It's hard to
Both.
tell.
Empty, it looks like.
Looks like a
The
mixture.
Sprite
of
look
both.
empty. I just wonder, do people not walk around with trash bags to just throw trash away?
I
The
don't
state
know.
of his bed shows the state of his head too. Hey, it's a saying that works. You ever go to somebody's house, the state of your bed is the state of your head.
Yes.
And we learned that in the military. You make your bed in the morning and you get to come home and you go to bed at night and it's made and you can get a fresh night's sleep.
Is this
I
still
wonder if these
Nicholas?
people
Yeah.
have problems.
This is a shed, it looks like.
It's not much. Oh, never mind. There is. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
Did they have? So did they shove all that stuff back to park a car in there? Did they like try to
The
hide a
shed?
car? You see what
No,
I'm
I don't.
saying?
I mean, I don't take it
You
that
wouldn't.
way.
I mean,
Why would they
I
put it in the car?
it's they have it shoved off for putting a car in there. I'm
Mhm.
saying
Yeah.
that because if you are mowing a land that had, you need a riding lawnmower, you needed it to be accessible, and that's way pushed back.
Yeah, I would say that they put a vehicle in there, or tried to at least at one point.
Or maybe they pushed it back to hide a vehicle, is what I'm getting at.
I'm surprised this baby stuff is outside like this.
Stuff.
Yeah. But I guess
Ooh,
it is in a
Who would have
shed.
been the last baby that would have been? Well, I mean,
Nick's brother.
Nick's brother, which would have been how long ago?
I think he was like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Gypsy and Nick took a bus to Wisconsin. There wouldn't be any vehicle to need to hide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hershey's chocolate chip cookie cake from Pizza Hut.
Mm.
Oh, so here's the thought. So, but she's been driven about having a baby, though, right?
She's got one
She
now.
has a baby, yeah.
Right. But maybe she was collecting all of those sippy cups and stuff for her future baby. Is that a possibility that was,
There's
like her
always
hope chest
Who knows?
for a child?
there's always a possibility. Okay. This isn't going to let me zoom in. Those won't let me zoom in.
The handcuffs.
Is that an ex-girlfriend's hairbrush?
That's a
handcuffs, which I'm
chunk
just
of
trying to
money
think of.
in that. How much? I wonder how much money that was.
I think it was $5,000 that she took out of her mom's safe, if I remember right.
Something like
Okay,
that.
so there's handcuffs,
There's
which
some SD cards. Or
So she had a motive for getting rid of mom just for the money then.
I mean, allegedly.
Yeah.
Also, I see some stuff, 2 different things for Gateway Arch Riverboats, which is in Missouri and St. Louis, which I wonder if they
I
got
think-
to that or they just
Do they gamble?
or just got something. to
no,
see
they
maybe
probably
wanna
just
do
got
it
the
later.
brochures.
What does it say? Missouri.
She
Inc.
told her mom in a
and-
note one time she was going to go to St. Louis. She probably got a brochure.
Also, there's like fake tattoos there. I wonder if that was to try and cover up an identity.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not sure.
What's
I
that
just-
there?
Somebody
Offered
said her bag
more-
had a green prescription bottle. I suspect it was Dee Dee's pain meds she took, and her flogger was in it too.
Where was that at?
It's over in the
Yeah, but where? I didn't.
see the green bag or the green prescription bottle. I don't know.
Is it in the back by the faith book thing?
Is that what she's talking about right there? Oh,
No, by the
I see it.
Facebook.
Okay.
I can't tell what it is.
No wonder I didn't see that. I wonder if that was Dee Dee's prescription.
I don't know.
Because she said she took medicine with her, but there's that camera.
Interesting. And
More
they also have a
fake
map of
tattoos.
St. Louis as well. More fake tattoos.
She was-
to try and conceal.
Somebody said she was buying clothes before she got pregnant, but I believe she used the sippy cups. She also did she was told the playing acting like a little girl for guys on video chat. So that was the explanation for all of those dresses.
Oh, health.
Well, Dee Dee dressed her up
That
in
makes
those
sense.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if she found a way to not do it for mom, but do it for herself to make extra money,
Yeah.
then the role playing it was dual fold. She made mom happy, but she got
Where's
to make
the
some money
R
for
coming
herself.
from? Why does it say Gypsy
Rose,
R? Oh, yeah,
Rose.
duh.
Okay. What year was I'm bad with math and the year is very different now. So someone born in 1991 would be very different now. But is that what year was she actually born?
91.
She was actually born in 91?
Yeah,
And everyone thought that she was several years younger, correct?
in 95.
everyone thought she was born in 95.
Yeah.
So she has 91 on her health care card.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a thought I
Well,
had.
remember in the interrogation, she told the officer that her IDs had different birth dates.
Mm-hmm.
If
Gotcha.
they, got mixed up from Katrina.
Oh, they also have a little chosen wrapper there. I see.
Well, because that would have affected what benefits she could have gotten if she
Right.
were younger as
Yeah.
a dependent versus being an adult or something,
Yeah.
she wouldn't get the same kind of assistance.
Yeah, that was why Dee Dee did it.
So then that could perpetuating the fraud. So that would tend to be more of a federal offense, especially if this was related to housing or other FEMA benefits or whatever. That would have made a big difference, and that would be a federal thing, in my opinion.
Oh, the blood.
Wait,
on
they
the
went to
shoes.
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee.
So did Nick's mom pick them up at the bus station in Milwaukee?
It looks.
I don't know.
Receipt and itinerary. Oh, I'm assuming that's for the bus. Did they go on a Greyhound?
Yeah, they went on a Greyhound.
I was looking at the condoms, and I'm just thinking, does that mean they were using protection the whole time? I wonder if there are any discarded condoms that are in any of this
I haven't
stuff.
seen any.
But just because they had them didn't mean she didn't put holes in them.
And I'm sorry, what was that?
Just because she had them didn't mean she didn't put holes in them.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just wondering if I just haven't seen any discarded condoms ever. So I was just wondering if that was anything that might have been.
Wait, that
was... even somebody else says, Angela M says, use of condoms is interesting since she always wanted a baby so bad. That was my whole point, that, just because she had them, she could have put holes in them. Yeah, well, use protection.
So I don't know. Huh. Some money on the counter.
What's
that? The little egg thing.
That's the parents' room.
No, what is that though? I'm just curious.
It looks like a little dish.
A little dish? Like
it
a
looks
really
like a penny.
Dish. Penny?
Yeah.
Huh. Hydrocodone, 1%. What is that
itch
for?
cream.
Itch cream. Oof. Yikes.
Well, that wouldn't have been in Gypsy's or in the parents' room if that money.
And they could have had other money that was just in the parents' room that they just wanted to document. You never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
If anybody in the comments was to
bag
chime
there
in.
is from Springfield.
What?
That Community National Bank bag there was from Springfield.
From Springfield.
Yeah. So why is it in the parents? No, it's in the kitchen.
Is it in the kitchen?
So maybe it was work. Maybe they brought work money bag home and didn't take it.
They're not in Springfield. They're in Wisconsin. So that would have absolutely been from Gypsy.
Mm-hmm. This is something Gypsy brought to Wisconsin.
And that's something that's local to Springfield or Missouri.
Yeah.
Millennial.
Yeah, it says it right there.
Oh, my bad. Oh yeah, Missouri. It does say Missouri on there. Yeah, because I know that the bank that I have is local to Missouri, and I've never. I don't like that bank. Toothbrush, lip balm, and condoms. They had to write that down. They couldn't remember those three things.
Toothbrush.
Look at all the kisses on that. I wonder what that is.
I don't know.
Whenever my friends went off into the military, whenever they're in boot camp, it didn't matter if I had a romantic relationship with them or not. I would just put lipstick on my lips and I would kiss like the seal, so they would have to do push-ups whenever they would get my letter.
We raised her right.
Did you spray it with perfume too?
I did a couple times. And not even all of them was I involved with. I just liked making them do push-ups to get my letters.
So even this is their ownership papers. This is where their slave and master contract was.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
I don't understand people that do that. I guess I'm just not that creative.
Listen, I'm not trying
I was having a conversation about this stuff, not this particular kind of thing, but just, I don't know, where do people get this stuff? They got to be on some kind of drugs to think up these things, because my mind doesn't work like that.
I'm not trying to kink shame nobody, but if you're killing somebody, with your kink, then I am kink shaming.
So they did come into Waukesha.
Waukesha.
So yeah.
I've never been to Wisconsin. I don't even know where that is.
Guys, you have to forgive me about numbers when it comes to numbers. When I was
What does that say?
Oh,
Hi, my love. I can't wait for your sweet touch. Please know you are loved, adored, and worshipped, heart. My heart leaps LEEPS at the very thought of you. I'm sending you this card, which you just showed to the ticket person to claim your tickets. I can't wait to see you. With love always, your queen, Gypsy Rose. And then she did a rose. XOXOXO. I've written a couple love notes in my time, but you know, it was a little different. A little different.
oh yeah, the heart on Gypsy's fridge.
Yeah. Huh.
So what I was saying earlier though is I suck at numbers. So yes, I get dates and stuff mixed up. So that's why I was looking like a real fool earlier.
No, it's okay. We all do that.
No.
No worries.
I'm like, where's the calculator? Let me do the math.
What is that? A SIM card?
Hard drives.
Hard drive?
Or for the back of a phone, maybe.
Oh, it does.
No, that's what.
Oh, Toshiba.
Yeah,
is
no, it's a
probably
hard drive
No,
for a
those are
laptop.
hard drives.
Dell stuff.
It's probably the one they got all those videos off of that poor guy had to go through and make the document on.
I know.
You know, shout out to all the people, not even just in this case, but that have to go through nasty, disgusting videos in
Oh my
order to
God,
bring
yeah.
people to justice.
Oh yeah, that would be tough.
Is that shit stains on his boxers?
Something.
I'm sorry, I'm just being real. Look, you can't. No, go back.
Yeah,
Go
racetracks. They're racetracks.
I'm not trying to be.
It actually looks like blood almost.
It looks like blood, but exactly where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Gypsy wore those boxers, no way.
But I'm surprised.
Well,
that you know the
unless
blood.
they had sex when she was on her cycle.
Supposedly they did the first time. I don't even know.
You know what? I don't know. So on here, I remember we looked through these pictures like a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you always said that somebody had claimed that there were certain DVDs that were here. Maybe it was True Blood or something like that, but it wasn't. But it was just
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time DVDs.
Yeah, people kept saying that she left with Game of Thrones and True Blood.
If we go through here, I don't know
Okay.
if it'll show it. Ooh. But it looks like they had just a bunch of Once Upon a Time DVDs.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's even going to be in here.
it's there somewhere. No, you got to keep. No,
I'll go down.
yeah.
Oh, somebody said, when was that book 50 Shades of Grey popular? That's what I thought of.
Well,
Is
she
that maybe-
actually has a picture of her cosplaying as Anastasia Gray or Anastasia. I don't remember which one it is. I've only seen it I've seen half of the movie. Let's see.
There's the
Look at
wigs she
here.
brought. So
The
she didn't bring
wigs.
any colorful wigs.
Just some normal blend-in wigs.
That's the Anastasia wig, right? Black one?
Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one on the bottom left looks.
But what
like
if
Anastasia.
what if it wasn't for the cosplaying? Maybe that's how she could have a different identity out in public if she's trying to be somebody different.
Yeah, she
and-
definitely
and
did
not,
that.
Not perpetuate the disabled side of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was video footage of her in maybe a hotel or a bus station. Which one where she had the wig on?
Both, I think.
Both. Okay, there we go. Once Upon a Time. That's the DVDs that she actually had with her.
And her mom dressed her so poorly as a boy. She had all these all these boy clothes to take with her.
Look at that purple dress.
Could
That's
you
so frilly.
imagine? Could you imagine for a second if your brother brought home a girl and she was supposed to be 20-something years old and she's wearing some stuff like this?
Oh no, I knew something was fucking wrong. Regardless, when we first started covering this case, I was the same age that she was when she committed the crime.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot, for the life of me, imagine being in this headspace.
Mm-mm.
Like I just can't. I just can't. What does that say? Tear my lovely sweet gypsy. Yes, sweetheart, it is your king charming Nicholas.
Leap.
Yes, I
It
am.
says leap. My thing
Leap.
it says leap.
Leap.
Okay.
Well, Yes, sweetheart, it is your King Charming Nicholas. Yes, I am doing what your master Victor said was okay.
Maybe
My
it's here.
freestyle writing, but something, sweetie. Yes, it is true. I am missing you. I wonder why they put the piece of tape right there.
You know what's
That's just-
wild about this is Gypsy said in her most recent book how she missed Nick's writing, how amazing his writing was.
Yeah, and he was writing all the scripts for them.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to judge because clearly he had some other stuff going on.
right.
But
Yeah,
you know, I wouldn't say this is like peak poetry.
right.
But I mean, I've never really had a man write me poetry. So you know what? Maybe just the fact that he cared enough. If he wanted to, he would, guys. Like, okay, girlies. If he wanted to, he would.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, that's just what it is. So that is
Nathan
Nick's.
Gale High School.
That is
Nicholas P. Curry. It says Curry.
I remember that.
Does anybody have context for that?
I don't.
Is that like did he have a stepfather, biological father, or
Well, his dad's name is Bobby.
and
Or
that is the
Robert.
one that was married to his mom when he
Correct.
passed?
And
Or-
then
or not
his
when he passed, when she passed.
stepdad's
But-
last name was Goldhammer.
So somebody says Curry
So
was
he's
his
not in-
mom's maiden name.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you
interesting.
for the context. 2007, he graduated.
So when did he change his name to Godejohn?
I've never heard Curry before.
Me either.
Huh. If anyone in the chat wants to come up, we still have the link in chat somewhere, and I'm sure it's findable.
Yeah, if anybody knows when he actually changed his name.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that Curry was even a name, apparently. I mean, I think you guys can all tell I haven't looked through all of these, but let's see.
So they didn't marry, he just opted to. But at what point did he opt to?
Say, I feel like you probably have to fill out some sort of paperwork in order
You
for that
do.
to be able to be on your high school
Legally,
diploma.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So,
that would have
and he's-
been what was on his birth certificate used through all of his school records.
But he's incarcerated as Nicholas Godejohn.
Yeah. So I wonder what the change would be, or when it was, or what the.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely before then. I mean, they're getting incarcerated with whatever name they're using at the time because Gypsy Rose has still had that E on the end.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have a dad and a stepdad.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
his
cool.
dad is Bobby
Yeah.
Godejohn. His stepdad is something or other Goldhammer.
I've heard about Bobby quite a bit, and he's the one that
Yeah.
kind of, you know, I don't want to say
Okay.
super active, but he
I
was-
remember him
He
going
went to live with his dad when he was a teenager. He changed it then. Not sure.
Yeah,
he did
but
it legally.
he had to have done it legally.
He had to have if it's going to appear on
Mhm.
Missouri court documents. What does
Right.
the
Hold on,
license
hold on.
say?
Yeah,
There's a
I'll
license
look.
right there.
Yeah, I know. I was
Gotcha.
just looking for the diploma again, wherever it went.
Go down. Right there.
Oh. Okay,
Okay,
so
Nicholas P. Curry,
what year was this?
2007.
So in 2007, he used the name Curry,
Okay.
and he would have been anywhere from 16 to 18 at that point, right?
Most
Mhm.
likely.
Okay.
How old is he now? Let me look him up.
He was 26 when the murder happened.
Really?
Yeah. And it says Nicholas Paul Godejohn.
Huh.
So maybe his dad or whoever, the
Probably
Godejohn
when he
dad
lived, his
had
dad is
adopted him. If there
Mhm.
had been something that had gotten formalized legally,
He was born in 89, it looks
because
like.
he wouldn't have been able to get a driver's license with the other name if there wasn't some kind of paperwork to substantiate the name change.
Yeah. And Godejohn is his father's
Yes,
name?
correct.
So he went from
His
his
biological
maiden
father.
name to his biological father's name. That normally doesn't happen. It's normally vice versa if someone
Mhm.
wants to change it.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen. Excuse me. I've seen that happen though. If the father doesn't claim at first, or if there's
Yeah.
issues between the mom and the dad at the
Mhm.
time of the birth.
And I know, well, he didn't live in the state of Missouri. I was going to say in the state of Missouri, you can have aliases. You can have an actual picture ID with an alias on it.
Really?
Yes, I know.
I've actually heard about that now that you mention it. No words needed.
I've seen it done.
Yep, we know what we're talking about. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
Oh, so somebody just said that they assumed that the Godejohn would have been on the birth certificate,
Mhm.
but so maybe the father's name was on there, and when he went and got his driver's license, even though he's been using his mother's name, if as he turned 18, maybe he opted to then start using the other name because his father's name was on there. He could make his decision on what name to use. I don't know, I'm just throwing that as a theory. Maybe it didn't require some kind of extra document if his father was listed on the birth certificate.
I could see that if
Yeah, but I'm
if
just
the
thinking
school
about the school thing.
if the school decided to just go with, I mean, I've seen schools
With
do
what
some
they
weird stuff.
knew, right?
Yeah,
Because
I've never
he
been
maybe hadn't at that
responsible to
point
do.
decided to use a different name.
But Creed. There we go.
Love me some Creed.
Can you take me high? Anyway, I worked in a TA office, a TA office. I'm so stupid. I was a TA in the guidance office. My bad.
Okay.
In my high school in Florida, and I know in order to actually change anything, like for instance, I had a really good friend that went by his middle name rather than his legal name. I remember one day they had me, the TA, for some reason, shredding social security numbers. And I looked at the names of some of them and it was like, I know that last name. It was a very distinct last name. And it was like, I know this person's first name, but like nothing legally was changed, even though he went by a certain thing. I don't know.
Godejohn,
I'm
misbehaving.
just talking. I was just talking.
No, you're
But yeah,
good.
Godejohn.
What was the name on the ID?
Godejohn.
Godejohn. Yeah.
So it's not a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ID
I'm gonna
card.
drop down,
Right.
y'all. I'm getting hungry, but I'll be watching from the chat, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining in, Millennial.
Thanks, Millennial.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Good to meet you,
You
Eva.
too.
Have a good one.
Nice
Have
to
some
meet
good
you.
food.
Okay, let's see. We've got 15 more minutes. So what do you guys want to look at? Let's look at this real quick. Pocket knife.
Knife
Knife
used at
used
murder.
at
Was
murder.
it a pocket knife? I know it was like some sort of a.
It was not a pocket knife.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like a knife for hunting or fishing or something like that,
Fishing
right?
knife, I think.
Fishing knife. Volunteer way.
But they mailed it. That's what was kind of interesting, that they mailed it.
Right.
Well, that was the intent, in my personal opinion,
to set them up.
Now, I just have to say this.
But that's the kind of knife you can get at Walmart in the.
She stole it from Walmart.
She stole it from Walmart.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, I knew where they
Yeah.
got it from. I mean, it's over
Yeah.
in the hunting section.
Yeah,
637.
Also this is unrelated to the schmurder itself, but we have driven past the home in which this was committed. We didn't, do anything crazy. We just drove past or whatever, but it's in a small enough area.
It's not a gravel road. I figured that out today.
It's not a gravel.
It's
what
not a
was
gravel
it?
road.
We went on it.
It's a regular paved road.
We were on it. It was
I
gravel,
just looked.
wasn't it?
No, I just looked. Hold on.
You and I literally went on it. Wasn't it a gravel road?
I thought it was, but look,
Okay.
not gravel.
Okay, gravel or not. Pull out, zoom out. Okay, you can't really tell. Well, yeah, you can tell. You see all those houses that are so close to each other.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is, I know things happen there. Dee Dee probably did some not great things. Okay. I'm not on the full, justice for Dee Dee train 100%. Okay. But I will say that when Gypsy said that she was forced to lay on the porch in the proximity of those homes that you just saw, do you see a situation in which her neighbors who thought that she was a mentally and physically disabled child would not notice that she was being put on the porch and forced to stay there for nights on end?
There's no way that she would
I
have.
personally don't see it. I'm not saying it's not possible, but there's alarm bells for me.
Okay, so Misha, why did you want 637 pulled up? This is 637.
I see.
Look what's on the counter. The
The hasp for the lock on the med closet. Dee Dee was right the middle of installing it that night.
Oh, right here.
What? Oh, that?
Yes,
in the
she
middle of
was.
Installing what?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I saw the screws, so she was trying to
Hold on.
put the
I put a
hasp on
note
something.
on there and I was like, what's going on here? Hold on, let me find it. Thank you, Misha.
Thank you. I don't know what we're looking for.
Hold on, I gotta find
Oh,
the-
I see. So so that she wouldn't have access to the shaky baby. and the
Correct, all that
codeine
stuff.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so around here somewhere.
She said the pin marks are on the door.
Stains on the floor.
Yeah, I'm looking for the door.
That's really ugly carpet for them to have
Well,
put in. I'm not saying
that's not the
them.
one.
Well, that's definitely not wide enough for a wheelchair.
Well, I mean, some wheelchairs, but
so
look at the
she had a
ground.
lock. So she had a lock on this door.
Is that Gypsy's door?
But
No,
is that
this is the catch-all room.
And that's oh shit. Okay, that's actually like to keep somebody in. Maybe Gypsy has a fucking point.
Or to lock. No.
No. Seriously, just to play devil's advocate. Okay. Okay. I am just being. I'm not trying to defend the bitch. Okay. I think she's a.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I'm just saying. Okay. Look at that. Remember how in our old home,
I
in the
remember.
bathroom,
And Vinell, it was an ID.
What's that?
Vinell asked if it was a driver's license or an ID. He was able to drive. And I just said no.
It was an ID. It said not for
not for driving.
You look at this room. There's nothing going on this room that would. Yeah, there's nothing on it.
It doesn't matter. Just to play devil's advocate, okay? If you want to lock somebody in a room, if you're stupid enough, or not stupid enough, but if you're a bad person enough to lock somebody in a room, you're not going to care if there's room in the room for you to get in there. There's enough room for her to sit down. I'm not trying to, defend Gypsy. I'm just saying, like, if someone can make a point, they can make a point. There's no reason why there should be deadbolts on the outside, and that to me looks like somebody who might have been.
But that would have been a different kind of hasp. That kind of hasp is what you use to put a padlock on.
Yeah, a padlock. But that, I mean, I don't know what it meant. I'm not going to pretend.
But I didn't see a padlock.
But yeah, there wasn't a padlock there at that time, but there might have been at some other point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I made a note on what she's talking about. I was trying to find the note.
Don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
And this is all still
Dee Dee's house.
Dee Dee's house.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This whole thing is just. I don't think there's any black and white in this case.
I don't either.
I don't think anybody involved was. Is that the Pope or am I just
Yeah,
crazy?
it was the Pope.
Oh my God. I didn't realize
it was Dee Dee. Well, Dee Dee's baptism certificate was above it. Okay.
Yeah, somebody put a comment in there. I found that creepy pic of the priest next to the bathroom.
I'm not going to say anything about anybody's religion, but I'm not disagreeing with you.
Where is that picture?
I don't know.
Okay. I thought it was right there, but
look at all that stuff in the washer still.
Surprisingly, they had little laundry like piled up or anything like that.
I mean, I don't know if that's surprising. She probably didn't have that many clothes.
She had all kinds of clothes. You saw her closet.
Yeah, but like I have a more extensive closet than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying she didn't have any clothes. I'm just saying she probably just didn't have a lot of clothes.
Where?
She didn't have a lot of normal clothes.
Get rid of it.
I didn't see normal clothes.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely not for somebody
costumes.
that's 23. When I was 23, I dressed like a HO3. Okay, I don't know about that, but
Okay, where the heck is this stupid picture?
I see your little ID with her cute little
Yeah.
smile. Oh, are those shoes for people that have like
Yeah.
issues with their feet?
Aunt Mary used to
Mhm.
wear those.
She was found, right?
Who?
Aunt Mary? No, there was a hurricane or something.
Yeah,
she
she's
disappeared
good.
for a while. Okay, my bad.
It was just the way that sounded. Sorry.
I know,
No,
right?
she did disappear for a while.
She
Like,
did.
I'm not kidding. There was a hurricane or something that went through.
Where the heck is
And,
this picture?
I saw a KC Chiefs signed football.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was it you were looking for?
It was a picture of a door where you can see where she was about to put the lock on it.
I would have thought that she would have put the lock on the door that had all the medicine in it.
Well, that's
Isn't that what we were originally talking about?
That's what she was about to put it on. Was the
Right.
medicine cabinet it looked like.
To keep her out of getting all of
something.
the yeah. But you would have thought it would have just an easy get rid of all of those medications. Unless she was she was using them too.
Sorry, guys, I'm looking. We actually only have 5 minutes
we
left.
only have 5 minutes. So maybe if you find something, then you can post it on our community tab. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll post it on our community tab.
There it was.
Really interesting.
That was it. Yep. Go back. One
That's
more.
a really interesting
There it
color
is.
scheme of that house.
No, because there's
Or
an
is that
act-
a pocket door? Is that a pocket door?
It looks like it is. Are
That,
there two doors
that's
there?
not wide enough for it to be a pocket door.
I don't
So
know.
that,
It
but see
almost
that
looks
silver
like it.
hatch
That's
looking
such a
thing?
weird- Look at that gap.
So, but you see the silver,
Yes.
that metal thing sticking out? That's got to be,
That's not the
other
one we're
part.
talking about, though. Hold on.
but that may be a different one then.
Yeah,
How about we
I'm just looking just to see if I
Gotcha.
can find it real quick.
Well, I was just saying, so since we have 5 minutes, but unless
Okay.
you want to run a little over, but I don't know what the schedule is of NBR.
I don't think we have anybody behind us, but still. Okay, well, Misha, sorry, I couldn't find it. I know what you're talking about, though.
We'll
So,
totally look for it, and if we find it, we will place it on the community tab. And also, we'd like to encourage if anybody goes through our FOIA documents, because they are on our community tab at the moment, right?
Mhm.
If you find exactly what she was talking about, feel free to either post it online yourself or send it to us, and we'll post it on our community tab. Whatever
yeah,
works.
and by the way, we have collected a total of $709 in Cash App.
And we are so thankful for that.
Yes, and that is being reserved for the next round of FOIAs that are supposed to come through. They are supposed to be at least $700. So it could be up to 1,000. We genuinely don't know. We won't know until we figure until we're actually quoted.
Do you know the percentage that they're done with it? I know it was like 55% or
No, it was
54%.
30 to 40 a few weeks ago. So I will reach
They've been
back out
taking
to
a
her.
minute. So it might be a little bit longer. Like we said, we're not special. Anybody can submit a FOIA, but they have been working on ours for a while, so it's unlikely that anything else will come out for a while.
Yeah, but this is our Cash App if anybody wants to donate, because like I said, we have no idea how much it's going to cost. And
you already paid what, like $500 for the other one, or
so for all of the FOIAs that I've already gathered on this case specifically, I have paid close to $600.
Okay, gotcha.
So but we have raised $719 now.
Dana asked if we have anything other than Cash App. Do we have anything other than Cash App?
We do have PayPal. Let me see.
I have a personal Venmo. if you want to send it to Venmo.
Yeah, if you want to send it to Venmo,
if anybody sends something to my Venmo, somebody specifically say Dee Dee's FOIA request, because I'd be getting shit randomly. Here, let me share my Venmo in case. But again, I will send we can post my picture proof that I sent it to you or whatever. If anyone sends it to me. Mine is actually, I don't know if I should.
yeah. I will put my not my Cash App, my PayPal link, and I will put a link to Military Broadcast Radio. But if it goes into Military Broadcast Radio, that is going to just go into the big pot for our veterans to pay for whatever needs to be paid. And so we have gotten $220 already
yes, that's
sent to Military Broadcast Radio. So I thank the people who have done that. And so that's what we're doing. And
I sent my Venmo in case, and nobody feel like you need to donate to my Venmo
or to the Cash App
or to anything. You don't have to go. You don't have to donate to anything. You can just be an observer.
Yeah.
But if you feel so compelled, and if you don't have a Cash App and you don't have a PayPal, you can send it to my Venmo. And if you send it to my Venmo, I will put a screenshot. I'll send it to my mom. She can put it on the community tab so people can keep a track.
Okay, we got to go.
To me.
So we've got to go. It's after 2 hours, and I think that's when our stuff cuts off for generating stuff. So
for MBR.
Yeah.
For MBR.
So we're going to have to go, but we thank everybody for being here. And I don't know, maybe we'll do this another time when the next ones come out. I try not to focus so much on Gypsy, but thank you, Eva, so much for being here. And please tell everybody where they can find you.
Pleasure. I come on at 6 Eastern on Saturdays. From Pain to Purpose, I've been covering pain, mental, physical, emotional, and next week is spiritual pain.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Eva. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone watching in chat and also in the future.
Yes. And have a very blessed evening.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.